Welcome everybody to our RealBird hands-on workshop. We're glad to have you here this fine Friday morning. My name is Eric Zebarth. I'm a guest host trainer with Agent Web from agentwebcoach.com. I'm glad you're here today. I'm not alone in support role. I have in the background Gabe Gross, one of the owners and developers of RealBird. He's here with, hey, Gabe, how are you?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. It's a great sunny Friday holiday here in California.
So I'm glad you guys are here to learn. We're going to be recording our session today. This is part two of connected to our last webinar we did 2 weeks ago, where we talked about tracking your online traffic and how to improve it. We actually talked more like tracking last time, and I interjected a little bit in front of that, in that I've had a lot of response say, okay, I need more traffic to track. So we're going to talk also today about how to get more traffic. That's get more traffic to your listings, to your profile, your website, your Facebook business page. Basically, how do you get more attention? How do you get more eyeballs looking at you and what you have to offer? So we're going to talk about that today and some of the tools that you can use to find out, what are the keywords people are using that might be related to you and the services you provide. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I don't know how many of you this is your first webinar with us, but I always want to start at the top of our workshop to let you know about the RealBird, to make sure you're using it to its fullest degree. RealBird is really made up of two parts: the listing publisher, which gives you the ability to create as many single property websites as you want, and also the property search is another element that fits inside every single property website you might create. You can also use it inside your website. You can widgetize it. It means you can kind of embed parts of it in your website to use for people searching for homes, and you can have drill down searches. I'll show you an example of that a little bit later. So I hope you're taking full advantage of that. We've shared lots of notes in the past, how to make the most of your RealBird. I have kind of a checklist that I always share. Happy to share that with anybody that wants that. Here, you got to be doing this, and this. This is really important to make sure you're getting full use of your listings, okay, of your RealBird listings. And it's interesting. I was working this week with a gal, Hillary Driscoll Old. She's in Destin, Florida, and you might not know this, but when your listing reaches kind of milestones, in other words, milestones meaning how many times it's been viewed, you'll get this notice from RealBird, and then a real quick link to say, hey, there's something to share about it. And this is a quick link to where you can then open up, if you have your LinkedIn, your Twitter open, or your Facebook, you'll be able to share that listing again to get even more views. Of course, the more people that see it, greater chance that they'll like it, see the great pictures, see maybe the video you did of it, see your testimonials, because every single one of your websites, your single property websites that's focused on a property is going to have some elements that you can add to it. So in a way, it's like a mini version of you traveling the internet. Now, what's interesting about this listing that Hillary showed me is, okay, first of all, she took my advice, which I gave her here, was to get all your listings in there, active, pending, and sold. Yeah, that's right there. Okay. Sorry, it's a little easier to see here. Yeah, get all your listings in RealBird, so they have their own single property website. So important. So what's interesting is this email that she sent me for this listing. This is a sold listing. So think about that. She was able to publish this listing before. This is a listing she sold before she got into RealBird, which she just joined RealBird recently. It's a beautiful home. It's sold, happens to be a very popular area. People are looking in this area. You say, how can a sold listing help me? Well, she created a sold listing. Like I said, she had this listing before she even had a RealBird, but she took my advice. She went in there, took my coaching. She put the listing in there. She even put some pictures in it. Okay. You only have to put one in a sold listing, but it got 25 people looking at it. And when they're looking at it, they're looking at her testimonials. They're looking about her. They're researching the schools. Now they might say, "Oh, rats! That home's sold." You don't know how much it sold for, by the way. People want to know. It's amazing how many. If you're in this neighborhood and you're thinking of selling your home and you're researching on the internet, and you find this listing, which you will find because these listings ride the internet, sold, pending, or active. People are going to want to know, oh, this house sold down my street. Notice it doesn't say when it sold. So you can go back. She's new with RealBird, but she's been in real estate like 4 or 5, almost 5 years. She can go back, put all her listings in there. And each one of these single property websites brands her connected to that neighborhood, that address, and such. Sure, they can call for pricing. Oh, because people might say, hey, I have a home in this neighborhood. I noticed you sold this. Hillary, because Hillary's down here. There's her website. There's her email. There's her phone number. Here's her our recent 2 listings, which, by the way, are not her listings, but that's pulling. Oh, no, these are some of her recent listings that are pending. So, but the idea is this is drawing attention to her, that she's working in this neighborhood, and this person that's researching the area might be thinking about selling their home. This gives them an opportunity to call her and say, Hillary, I saw you sold the home at 320. I'm at 356. My house is similar, but we added a pool and a spa. What did that sell for? Then think about that. And also she added the chat feature, which is pretty cool. You could do that. You can add chat to each one of your listings. So when I talk about get all your listings in there, active, pending, and sold, you're putting more content in front of eyeballs. And that's what we're talking about today. How do you get more eyeballs? How do you get people looking at you and coming to you and seeing what you have to offer? That's what we're going to talk about today. And she did that. So there's 25 people that found that sold listing that she loaded a week ago, and they were viewing that. And that's a great example of why you should get all your listings in there. Okay. This is what we talked about last week, why you should track. You can't improve what you can't measure, what's working, what's not working. We talked about that. That webinar on March 31st was recorded, and we have a version of that you can watch and you can listen and learn. So I don't want to go over everything that we did last time. Okay, but these are all the things that you can track. We talked about that. We talked about where can you be found. So important. Many people didn't know that your reviews can be in a lot of different places. These are some of the places that your reviews can be. Now, I shared with you that I feel that your Trulia and Zillow reviews are probably the most effective. My own experience of working with my clients one-on-one on a daily basis, helping them with structuring their marketing and coaching them to success, that's the place. Whether you like it or not, those reviews get the most exposure and will do you the most good and bring you the most business. So don't hesitate at the end of a transaction to invite people to review you on Zillow. If you put in Zillow, it'll get to Trulia. It's kind of like Zillow's the front of the gate and then Trulia's behind it. And they combine. If you had reviews at one time, you had a profile in Zillow or Trulia, they've now combined those reviews. And the same reviews are found on here at Trulia and Zillow, just like your listings, if they're there, when they're there. LinkedIn, great place, understated. A lot of, I have reviews. I think I have like 32 reviews. And I get people that look at my profile because I have more reviews. Okay, I don't want to go through all this, but basically reviews in Facebook Biz are also important. These are all the different places you can have reviews. Now, some agents get overwhelmed because they say, I can't ask people to go review me on 8 different places. So I would say pick 2 or 3 and stick with those. And those would, for me, would be probably Trulia Zillow. But don't hesitate to take advantage of all these different places you can be found, okay? All right. What I want to talk about today is how you're going to get people seeing you is by you creating traffic. And when creating content. And your content that you're creating are your listings in RealBird, okay? The articles that you might create in your blog, okay? You have an opportunity to do that. Your profile, you have to make sure your profile, wherever it's found, that it's consistent. That means your name is the same format. You know, if it's Hillary Driscoll Olds, because she has a kind of like a hyphenated name, 2 last names, then that's the same everywhere. And that your brand, your logo, that you're consistent. Most people don't realize that Google and the other search engines like Bing and MSN, they're already putting the puzzle pieces of your profile together, okay? And you can help them by making sure you're consistent. And then, of course, going into those places like Google and Bing and MSN and creating your profile there. So you're giving them the tools to put your jigsaw puzzle together of who you are in your profile. And by the way, you want it to be consistent. Use consistent business phone number. Most people don't know that Google actually indexes you by your phone number. You could type your business phone number in the search engines, and it might tell a lot about you, because that's an anchor point of your profile is your business. Also might be your email address. Believe it or not, your email address might be searched and found because it's on your website or it's on your different profiles. So be aware of that. So the tools that you share, that's another way for you to be known. The tools that you share, the resources that you give, whether it be on your website or in your Facebook business profile. Most people don't know that in Facebook, you have a great opportunity to be seen there. And people go here. Now, not everybody's in Facebook, but I would tell you that probably 65% plus people are using Facebook on a regular basis, spending over 45 minutes and more. Now, this happens to be Bob Santucci. He's a great advocate for RealBird. He uses it. He has been using it for a long time. But this happens to be his Facebook page. And you see that you have tabs that show different parts. Now, some of these tabs are built automatically with just having a Facebook business page. And by the way, it doesn't cost anything to build a Facebook business page. And you can find out how to do that. You could, I'll do it real quick, show you. Let's see, let me go, let's go YouTube. And I show this just not to help people not be overwhelmed. And that's not something like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Okay, watch. How to set up, let's go set up, probably best words. A Facebook business page. That's the one we want right there, okay? Now, when I have you go here, I'm going to have you filter this, because if this was 2 years ago, I don't care that it had 354,000 views. Facebook business pages have changed probably 10 times since then. So I think the best thing you do is to go up here, filter first is what I do for, I'd say usually safe within the last month for sure. And then you try to look at ones who got the most views. That's how to optimize, how to create. There we go. That looks a good one. It's got 20 views. And I realize it has nothing to do with real estate, but they're going to show you how to set up a Facebook page. You can add real estate to that keyword, right? Real estate Facebook business page, and you'll probably find some good stuff in there. Yeah, there we go. Well, 2 years ago, maybe let's filter it a little more. Let's go this year. All right. Okay, cool. Awesome. This guy's great. This is a great trainer. This is a good one. This is some good stuff. But so if you don't have a Facebook business page, follow the steps here. It's not hard to do. It doesn't cost anything. And you will get traffic. And you will create content. Now, I work with agents to help them build their marketing. And I one of the places you can have your posts is you can create articles at your website. Bob's website is healdsburgrealestate.com. Actually, if you search in the search engines for him, if you search Healdsburg Real Estate, he's smack dab in the middle of page one, which is great. That's a great place to be. He's got a great domain name, a great website. And his website, he posts great articles that he feels will be beneficial to the people he wants to serve. Let me go ahead and pull that up and show you that to you. And we show his Facebook business page. This is his website we did together. Okay, so he's sharing information about first-time home sellers. We talk about first-time home buyers all the time. Well, he happens to be really good at selling property. He actually sells homes, older homes, manufactured homes, believe it or not, in these really nice area. They have manufactured homes. He also sells, in this area, it's wine country. So he sells vineyards and land and farmland. Anyway, but he's sharing information. Here, this is an article he did, First-Time Sellers, Leverage Your Equity. He's sharing his expertise. That's what you got to do. I see so many agents that have expertise, and they don't realize that they have expertise. And when I work with them and I said, you need to set up your website that was a place where we're going to share your articles and your expertise and authority. Authority meaning you're an authority in that. You're an expert in that topic. Okay? And by the way, you want to be that. That's the most powerful thing. We're going to talk about keywords and where to find the keywords today and where to put them, how to drive traffic. But even before that, the the chicken before the egg, is you got to establish yourself as an authority, and that's what he's done really well. So much so that Google's put him in the middle of the front page because he's been consistent about creating this type of content that he thinks about the people that he wants to help with real estate, and he understands he has to kind of pull out of himself those topics and ideas and content that would show him as an expert. And then, of course, how Google works is, the search engines work is, nobody comes to the search engines if they're not looking for anything. People come to the search engines because they want to learn. They have questions, and if you know that, you need to be the answer to those questions. Most people don't realize that when you go to the search engines like Google, more than 60% of the things that are searched inside Google are questions. Now, some people might ask question like, what do I need to know as a first-time home seller? Or first-time home seller helps or tips. Okay, well, we want him to be found in that. Okay, so you have to think about what are the questions that people are going to ask, and how can I be the answer for those questions? That's what it comes down to. And then, because you're an authority and you're sharing expertise, Google picks you up and says, oh, we think Bob is an expert in working with first-time home sellers in the Sonoma County area, real estate. See, that's how it works. A lot of people think, oh, I got to climb to the top of the search engine. No, what you need to do is share your expertise in a way that you be an authority, be an information point, okay? Now, I've been working with agents, 19 years now. I think it's been 19 years. 18 and a half, okay. I try to communicate with the clients I work with that having a website and creating articles and pages and posts, basically, that's your opportunity to share your expertise. That's your opportunity to blog. And blogging is one of the most powerful things you can do because it rides over the top of Zillow. Because Zillow is does show great information, and a lot of people go there. That's the main place they go. And you might type in, Healdsburg, homes in Healdsburg, and he might not come up to the top search engines because Zillow owns a lot of the top of the keywords. They've kind of bottomed out. It's not just Zillow, it's Realtor.com. If you still search those keywords, that's probably what you'll find is them. They'll have those positions. But the thing they can't do is really be an expert, be a real live person that's an expert in these different topics that you might be able to show yourself as an expert in. See, so I typed in homes, and it's going to show plenty of homes for sale and such. But you really have an opportunity to show your expertise and be an expert, okay? By the way, he's still showing, even for homes in Healdsburg, he's still showing in the middle of page 1 because he's committed to be an authority. So you need to think about what you can be an authority in, and then make sure your profiles are consistent, and it might take some search, and we're going to do a little bit of search and find out the top keywords that you might be found for so that you can use those keywords. So when I talk to my clients, say, I want you to blog. I want you to create content article that shows you as an authority in this area so that the search engines are drawn to you as an expert. And they say, Eric, I don't blog. I don't write articles. I don't have time to slow down my life and pull in a pretty picture, find a few keywords, write a description, add a video. By the way, I tell them you're already blogging, and they say you're crazy. Well, I don't blog. I said, no, you're already blogging. If, say, for example, if Bob didn't have all these great tools, Facebook business page, first place space on page 1, great website with great content to attract people that he might be able to serve with the specialized services he provides. So what if he didn't have all that? And he say, I would tell Bob, if I call you and ask about, hey, I'm thinking about retiring a little bit and slowing down. I want to buy a vineyard, buy a small vineyard to start out with, to raise my own grapes and make my own wine. Okay. Might he be an expert in that information about real estate relating to that? Maybe a house, a small vineyard, 5 acres, something like that. Yes, he's an expert in that. He's answering a question. He's answering my question. I'm on the phone. Hey, let's talk a little bit. Let's get together, have some coffee, wine even. Let's talk about it. Okay. So he's already blogging to me. He's sharing his expertise and knowledge. But because it's a private conversation, the search engines don't see it. And because the search engines don't see it, they can't connect that content to other people that might be looking for that. So if you just go back and Look on your phone. You have an iPhone. I can see who's called me. My clients that have called me in the last 14 days. And if I look at each one of those conversations when they call me, I kind of know what the question they were calling to ask about. They were calling for my information. That is blogging fodder. That's ideas. These are real people having real questions that need real services. And if I blog about those, I will be found, and because I'm creating great content. Okay, so don't tell me you don't blog. You're already blogging, but it's a private conversation. Since you're not willing to take the time and take that common knowledge and put it in a video, or by the way, it can be a video. Put it in a video or put it in an article. Then you're missing out. You're not sharing expertise. Now, most realtors that I've ever worked with are very verbose. If I call them on the phone, and if I call them on the phone and ask them a question, if I ask them a question, they'll be able to answer me on the fly. A lot of times they won't have to research. They'll know that information. So basically what we're sharing with you today is how you need to get that content out of you and into a place where other people can see it. Okay. And by the way, some of you said, I don't like writing. It takes too much time. Okay, great. Frank Valente is another great RealBird client. He's in the Loomis area, Penryn. This is kind of northeast of Sacramento, Auburn area. And he's very good at coming up with these topics. He's very good at coming up with these topics and then sharing them in a video. And he's not afraid to do it. And I know somebody says, I don't look good on a video. Who cares? You're sharing the experience. Right?
Hello, this is Frank Valente.
And they don't have to be, how do I say it? They don't have to be really structured and, with a green screen and you in your suit. They could be more raw, but you're teaching people about, you're giving them benefit, what to do and how to, how you're different as well. Okay, so you could do video as well, not a problem. I wanted to share with you, and I'm kind of interjecting this, and I apologize for this, but this listing syndication network sheet has been updated. If you go inside your RealBird account, let me find it here. I got a tab here somewhere. Okay, so there we go. So if you go inside your RealBird account, you'll log in. Once you log in, you'll click on the dashboard, which is the first thing that usually opens. Dashboard, to go down to here is My Listing Network, Syndication Network. And what this will do is basically these are all the partnerships that syndication networks that RealBird has set up. And this is a great, by the way, listing tool to be able to put down in front of people. And if you click on My Listing Syndication, it'll brand it to you. You pull your picture from your profile in RealBird, your contact information, your email, and your website. Okay, so these are all the places. Now note that these are the automatic listing places. There are some further manual postings that you'll need to do as well. And there's lots that you can do. But the idea is you want to overwhelm people. You want to show them, hey, we're going to be aggressive with your listing. But this is a great updated listing syndication network. This is a tool that you'll find inside your RealBird account. And I apologize, I meant to share that right at the front. So the idea is you want to create article content. Then those could be your articles, your listings. By the way, I was just at, where was I? Just at Frank's site. And you notice that he has quite a few listings. He has a website where you could dive in and search for homes in each of these areas he specialized in. But look at this article here. This article here is actually one I did with him. This is a home, and this is actually a manufactured home. And this is a listing as it was loaded inside RealBird. And then RealBird gave us the code to post this as an article on his website. And this was key because we wanted these keywords. We did some research, so that people could find this listing. Obviously, they're going to find the article because he syndicates. It's everywhere. That's what I do when I set up a website. I show agents how to do that. So you could go. Here, let's try this. This is a bit of a game of chance. But let me go let me see here. I'm trying to pull up my incognito here. Is that it? Yeah, there's my incognito. So the reason I use an incognito browser, because I don't want my search here being influenced by where I've been before. And that's just a tip. I know. Okay, so look down here. Oh, okay, I'm not going to be able to show that. I'm got my other screen. So basically, when you see your search icons on the bottom of your screen, you right-click on one. Let's see, for example, Firefox or Chrome, and there'll be incognito window, or you're searching blind, so it doesn't affect where you've been before. So let me put those keywords in there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so these keywords, I want to show that it was a new home, that access to private lakes, and that's a big deal in that area. 55 plus community, and the area, Newcastle, CA. Okay, and look at all the places that I found. The top 3 places. Now remember, this isn't influenced by where I've been before. That's why I'm using the incognito up here. That's what this little guy with the glasses and the hat means. So that listing is, first of all, that I embedded from RealBird on his website, is found now in the search engines, and it's also posted at his Facebook page, and it's also found at the single property website that he created, that we actually embedded as a post on his website. So the first, now that's kind of a long keyword tail. It's what we call long tail keyword. But people do type these things. We did our research and we found out, that people are looking for new homes, and they're looking for 55 plus. That's actually a key with a plus sign, believe it or not. And the Newcastle, CA. So these are keywords we researched and find out, and it worked. Actually, we pulled ahead of, with these keywords up ahead of like Redfin and some of these other places. People that might be looking for that. Okay. All right. So that's the power of searching the proper keywords and then using them. Here we go. Give me a second. I can find my bearing here. Nope. Close that window there. Hope I haven't lost my screen there. Hold on. Let me see. Let me open it again. Okay. Let me see here. I guess I did. I guess I closed my tab. I apologize for that. Just give me a second and oh no, here we go. I'm almost there the whole time. Okay. So the idea is you want to create content. You want to unify your profiles wherever they may be. And we've talked in the past before the different places that you could be. By the way, you can have profiles on all these places. Make sure they're all aligned. I think another link here. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, get all your profiles set up and make sure you're the same and that you look the same in all the different places. Okay. Okay. So you need to know what are the top keywords and phrases that you can use for your website, your profile, like your Facebook business page, your classified ads, your listings. Many people don't know, if you use an email, and I apologize, okay. Your email needs to reflect you, not AOL, not Gmail. Your email should be info@agentwebcoach.com. The reason why you need a domain-based email is because every email you send out is going to bring people back to your website. Okay? And that's really important to be able to do that. I've seen so many agents work with their AOL email or their Gmail. And you probably don't know this, but you could set up you could set up a domain-based email. If you have GoDaddy, you can actually set that up for free. And if you're using Gmail, like I do use Gmail, you could tie it together with your domain-based email so that you can have everything in your Gmail account, but you still send out from, Eric or info@agentwebcoach.com. You can set that up. It's not hard to do. GoDaddy usually gives you, if that's where your domain names are, is for your website. It might be other places, but most places where you have your website address or hosting can give you a domain-based email. I'll just put, okay. This says a lot. It says, okay, if I go here, yes, I can email Eric, but if I go here, I'll find his website and what he does and who he is. So that's way important. You shouldn't use as your main email a Gmail account. Okay. Talked already about your online business profiles. Those citations need to be the same.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
Your desktop is showing on the screen. Is that what you're showing now?
No. Let me see. It should be showing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me just. Okay. Tell me points here.
Okay. Now it shows the
I just had to refresh it. I
your
apologize for that.
presentation. Okay.
So so don't miss an opportunity. Every time, how many emails you send a day? Probably most real estate agents send between 100 and 150 emails a day. I know you guys work crazy hours like I do, and you're constantly communicate with other people. And every time your email is seen, if it has your domain name in it, people will be able to find you, okay, and see what else you're about. You don't need to promote Gmail or AOL, or even I've seen this. Agents use their John W at KW.com. Don't do that. You don't need to promote KW anymore. Okay, so enough of that. I don't want to shame you into that. So let's talk about how to find the proper keywords that represent you and who you are. Okay, I believe it's important for an agent to have a list and have done their research to get a list of their top keywords. Now, I use tools I pay for because I do this as a living, to find keywords and help agents rank and use them in their marketing. So I have a tool. This tool I pay $40 a month for. It's a great tool. It's awesome. I can save all my keywords. I can see, how often those keywords are searched. It'll tell me how many times, how often. And when I work with a client, I build a folder of my clients and all their top keywords so I can make sure that we use them. Now, if you're not a client of mine, maybe you don't want to spend $40 a month or you don't want to work with me. By the way, I'm willing to invite anybody that I haven't that's on this webinar here today to have a session with me, and I'd be happy to start their keyword research with them and help them find their top keywords that might represent who they are, what they do, and how they do things better or different than others. So these are some of the clients that I've gathered some of their best keywords, and you can print out these in an Excel sheet so you can have them. And this gets detailed. I mean, let me pull one up. Boca Raton beachfront real estate. Okay, I know that this gives an idea how many people are searching. Now, this will make suggestions. Boca Raton real estate. People are typing those 4 words 3,600 times a month in search engines. Exactly like that. Exact match. That's helpful information. Now, are you going to come to the top of the search engines for that? That's a hard job. That's not easy to do. But so to rank for page number 1 when people type in Boca Raton real estate, that's going to be hard. By the way, I can click on this really cool tool. I can click on here and tell me, okay, who is coming up for that, and that this will actually pull up and tell me, who is pulling up for that. And of course, it's probably going to be Google and such. But the idea is it's good to know what are the top keywords and how many times are they being searched, and then this gives you some ideas of what you should be writing about. I want to write about homes in houses for sale in Miami if that's my target market. I want to write about that, so I'm considered. And the longer tail, that means the more words that people are searching. Like here, let's see people will search long tail. In other words, they'll type 4, 5, 6, 7 keywords. 2-bedroom houses for rent. Now that's obviously kind of broad. It's not really localized to Boca Raton. So you have to ignore the ones. Okay, anyway, this is a tool that I have that I pay $40 a month. But there are other tools that are free. I'm going to show you a couple. Here's one called, and I'll be happy to share this link with you. Okay, so this is a place where, and this will not only search Google, but it'll search YouTube and Amazon and Bing, which most I'm interested in are Bing and YouTube and Google. So let's say, okay, I'm going to do, just say I'm helping my friend Frank, who's in Auburn area. You saw his website, frankvalenti.com. So you have to start with something, and this is a free tool. They have a paid version, that's fine, but we're using the free the free tools, and they got a few different tools. I'm going to suggest he's got this listing in Newcastle, and say I'm optimizing for that. So I'm going to type Newcastle homes. Now, there might be more than one Newcastle. I know he's up in the Auburn area, Northern California, but I know there's other Newcastle in Southern California too. So I might want to be more specific about that, but this is a good place to start. Okay, and you could search international if you want, but this Newcastle homes, 55 plus. So I wanted to make some suggestions. So here you want to be not too many words, because let it make some suggestions on what are the more popular searches. Okay, so it's loading those 4 keywords. These are some of the other words that I might add to the article or add to the content part of the listing, whether it be article in his website, because he's brought the listing from RealBird into his website, or the actual listing itself. Because when you have RealBird, you have an opportunity. Let's go ahead and pull up a listing here. Got myself kicked out. You have an opportunity to go in here and put a description here. Okay, so here's this listing he's got. Sold listing. Here's this active listing. Oh, the active. He's been busy. It's a challenge in California right now to get listings. Once you get listings, they sell pretty dang quick. Okay, so here's a listing that he has. You have opportunity in these listings to put a description. There's a first description box that's a small one. You didn't put a lot in here. You could add more keywords in here. In fact, we can go to that listing and add more. But this description box gets picked up. You can put more information in here than you can in your MLS description when you broker load the listing. Okay, and this gets read by the search engines, by Google. This gets read. This not as much. I think you can have up to 600 characters here, because this has to fit on the flyer. But you got to go this first box and the fourth box. And here's where you put a description of that. So we're thinking of keywords. What do we write about this listing right here? And of course, this listing looks like it needs some help. So this one here in Webster Lane, another manufactured home, but notice they didn't call it a mobile home. It's a manufactured home. And it's reasonable. It's under $90,000, and he needs some help with it. So maybe Citrus Heights, maybe this might be the one that we're adding keywords for. So let's go back to that. So I'm going to show you that they're going to make some keyword suggestions. Now this is, I don't know if this is a 55 plus neighborhood, but you see some of the other keywords in there that tie in with that. I would definitely use this keyword, right? I would definitely use this one here. So this is giving me some ideas. Now you don't want to repeat a phrase too much, but this will give you some clues on what to put in that area. Okay, not a lot, but that's a start, and then you can export that list. Okay, one that might be maybe less specific. Let's do Citrus Heights homes. Some of these areas, that's what people can afford. It's a nice area. I know that up in Napa, in that area I showed you, Hillsburg, manufactured homes are great, because you don't have to take care of the maintenance of the park. And you say, I don't want to live in a mobile home, but these are beautiful areas. And if the chance to live in these expensive areas, but there's nothing wrong with these manufactured homes. They're beautiful. So here I put in Citrus Heights homes, or you could do homes in Citrus Heights. And this is telling me some of the top areas that people are saying, okay, Citrus Heights, Ashton Wood homes within Citrus Heights. Make a note of these and store them. So you might, by the way, you might find some keywords that might not help you with this listing here, but you might need them later because you're marketing other homes in Citrus Heights. So Citrus Heights, it's not Fontana, that's down Southern California. So you could look in here and see, which keywords might fit or work in with that. Okay. And it might be that they're within these communities. Okay. Oh, and know this, if they're saying 2 and 4 bedroom, this is because people are typing those words. They're giving you the top keywords. Okay. That's one tool. I have to show you another tool. And it's Google, and people don't realize that. Okay. So I'm just typing Google. I know I'm kind of already there on my search page, but okay. So have you been on Amazon before, or I don't know, searching for a video or something, and you realize that the tool in front of you is making some suggestions based on the things you've seen before or used? or bought, like in the case of Amazon. And that's called semantic marketing. It's called relative marketing. So basically, if I want to put homes in Auburn, because I have a home in Auburn, California to sell, I'm going to select. You see, there's Auburn in Washington, Alabama, New York. Well, I want it relative to me, so I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose this one here. Okay. So obviously Zillow comes right at the top with some listings there. Real.com, Zillow, Julia. But there's going to be a key here at the bottom that's going to be really important for me to notice. And that's what we call semantic search. So basically what it means is other people that search for homes in Auburn, CA also search these things. So if I take these items here, let's see if I can grab them all. Okay, I'll just take them four at a time. I want to make note of those because it's telling me and see, do they fit into what I'm marketing right now? If they don't, you ignore them. But if they fit in, you want to include them somehow. Because they're what we call semantic search. And basically, Google is telling you these are related searches. And if you can use any of these keywords in here and get them to, and if they apply to what you're marketing, that's going to start to help Google notice you more. Okay, so obviously we don't want out with that one. Might not be land for sale. Okay, open houses. Okay, so these are their top keywords. These are some relative terms because Grass Valley, Newcastle, and Auburn, these areas, Meadow Vista, Colfax, these are all close together. So you want to pay attention. And by the way, you can drill down a little more. So for example, I'll take the phrase that most is relative. I would say right here, that was relative to what you're doing, is open house. Maybe you want to have an open house and you're going to be doing an open house. Look at that keyword. You can drill down and it'll give you a whole other set of keywords. So there's plenty of keywords suggestions. Those are based on what people are already typing. And by the way, here's another one that made a suggestion. I didn't invite it into my conversation at the party. You know, it's kind of someone's rude at a party because you're talking with someone and someone butts in that conversation. But in a way, that's what Google's doing. It's hey, just poking at you. Since you're looking to find out about homes in Auburn, CA, other people are using these keywords too. These might be helpful to you. So that I'm going to make a note of that. Okay. Because that applies to this home that I might be marketing in Auburn. Okay, so those are two free ways that you can do a little keyword research. Now, how long did it take me to do that? To come up with 3 or 4 phrases? Not very long at all. Was it worth? And I did that in 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Is that worth taking 10 minutes to find those top keyword phrases? You bet it does. Because they're already telling you that those are related terms. Okay. By the way, you can look at the top people that are for your keywords and look what they have. They're calling Auburn real estate, but they don't just say real estate. They Auburn CA homes for sale. And if you do research in my tool that I have, you'll find out that more people search for Auburn CA homes for sale than they do Auburn CA homes or homes in Auburn CA. That Auburn CA homes for sale is a very good phrase. People are looking for that. And by the way, don't discredit houses. They're looking for houses too. And you might say, well, I don't sell houses, I sell homes. But that might be your language as a realtor. You have to put yourself in the position of the home buyer or home seeker. What words are they going to use? I've had a lot of agents say, well, I want to use the keyword phrases like luxury homes because I want to find people that want luxury homes. Well, homeowners don't do a lot of that. See, it's thinking hard. Luxury term is a term that real estate agents use. Okay, because what my research found is people don't use the word luxury. What they do use is I'm looking for gated homes, communities. I don't want to be in Auburn, but I'm looking for a gated community, or I'm looking for a lifestyle. Say, for example, a golf home or golf course home. Yeah, those might be luxury, but those are more the terms people use to describe luxury. They're not going to type in, "I'm looking for a luxury home. I'm going to buy me a luxury home." Okay. And for the most part, people don't say, "I need to go find some real estate," unless they're going to like a farm, a business, a vineyard. It's really homes, and homes in that city or Auburn City homes, And by the way, these keyword phrases that you find cannot just be found to use in your domain name. They're actually inside the articles that you create. Okay. This is another RealBird client, Doug Buenz of the 680 Group. He's in the East Bay area. He writes articles. Not only writes articles about his listings, he writes articles about them when they're sold, and draws traffic to them. You can tell he's been busy lately, but his blog gets between 400 and 600 people visiting his site a day. He provides a lot of great information, latest articles. He provides market reports, which, by the way, those market reports can be generated probably right from your MLS. Many people don't know. Many agents don't know that they have the opportunity to generate those reports and create articles about them. And people want to know. Not everybody wants to know stats and figures and is the market going up, is it going down. That's one area that you can be an expert in and share the expertise in. Here's a tool that I found a lot of you have inside your MLS as I've met with you guys. You have the ability to create these trend graphics, and I was able to do this for him, create it up, and it's, even though I said it one time, these are dynamic in that as the time goes by, they update. And just a great way to use the tools that you might already have inside your MLS. So another way to create content, he writes articles about a report for a month, each month for each of his areas, and people read that. And that's why he creates content all the time. That's why he gets almost 600 people looking. And what are they coming to look at? Yeah, they're coming to look at his articles, but they're looking at his home search. They're looking at the free report he has. They're looking at the homes he has for sale. They're looking for a resource. That's what people do. That's how it works. You got to create the content, but you got to have the right keywords so that you can be found. And then you keep track of those keywords, and then you use them everywhere in your marketing. Now, it's going to be easy to rank for Auburn, CA homes. No, it's not, because, like I said, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Redfin, a lot of those come ahead of you because, believe it or not, and don't be offended by this, but Google sees them as a bigger authority than you. I mean, Zillow has, I think, how many pages? Like 1 million pages. And how are you going to compete with them? Plus, most people don't realize that Zillow does not take that for granted, okay, that they're in a really high position. They'll also buy ads. So here, Realtor.com is bigger here. Here's Zillow number 4. But Zillow will buy ads. Realtor.com, these other places will buy ads so they can jump up in front, okay? So you might not be found for Auburn, CA homes. That might be a little harder to be found for. Longer tail, homes for sale in Newcastle, or 55-plus homes for sale in Newcastle, that you can be found for. It's a longer tail, but guess what? People are still looking for those things. I showed you that they were typing up to 7, 8 words when in the search box. And of course, we want you to be found there. So there we go. So I've covered a lot of ground today. I'm just kind of checking in with you as I kind of bring this back around. By the way, if you have a profile, you should have a profile in Zillow. You don't have to be a premier agent. You can still get reviews there. You can still make sure your sales are showing up there, your solds. I think this is really important and powerful to do. Ignoring this at your own behest, it's your own harm, so to speak. Zillow's already going to be exploiting you. Exploit them back. Okay, you that have been on the webinar with me before. So get your profile up there. Hers is at 100%, and she gets more business because of it, and not just because she's a premier agent. She was able to generate. I think she started in 1983. Before she was even a premier agent, where she's paying $500 a month for 2 zip codes to be predominant in the top 3 or 4, she is paying, that's a big chunk of money, and she gets leads on a consistent basis. But even before she was a paying customer, just getting people to review her and filling out a profile and adding all the service areas, basically totally filling out a profile, she was able to close 4 sales in 2014 just from people finding a review. And that was 3 years ago. And now, of course, it's been a lot more. So I'm not necessarily promoting Premier Agency as a Premier Agent of Zillow, but I'm saying get your profile in there and fill it out. like there's no tomorrow, because people will see your reviews and they will see your activity. And by the way, you could sit, people don't know this, but you can go, I'm in here right now, logged in this term. You can add your past sales in here as long as you put an address, the closing date, the closing price, and whether you represent the buyer or the seller. For the most part, Zillow will add those. And what's really cool is they say, well, I got a few. I've been doing this a while. That's okay. You can actually submit, you can actually send them a spreadsheet of these items right here, and they'll enter the data for you. Pretty cool. Because once again, that's filling out your profile, because people are coming here who want them to see you. And by the way, the Premier Agents, whether you're Premier Agent or not, doesn't really matter. There's just other tools you have that are available to you. But I'm telling you the ones that are free at the free level, okay? All right. I can't talk about, gosh, tons to share with you today. So the idea is you need to find out what are your top keywords that'll help people identify you and your listings and the areas you serve and your expertise. And by the way, if anybody needs help with that, I'm going to leave my email at the top, and you can contact me, and I'll be happy to set up a session with you, no charge, no obligation, and we'll just do a little research for you, help you start your keyword research list so that you can build that. That's your library you're going to build off of when you create these listings and posts and reports and such. Okay? All right. Any questions? I've been jabbering on for a while, and I want to make sure that that we have any questions that they get answered. Okay. Gabe.
We had a question from Melissa, but I answered it.
Just like that. Okay, great. Okay, so I guess my biggest advice would be, don't be intimidated. It's important enough to take the time to find out the top keywords, and then to use them in all your different profiles. And then, of course, we talked about also your profile. Where are you? Make sure that you're consistent with that profile. Don't hesitate to put all your listings in past, present. You saw already that Hillary got 25 views to her profile, her testimonials, and her sold listing, and her other 2 listings that were at the bottom, because she put a listing and put it in RealBird as a sold, and still got 25 people to look at that. That's powerful.
Can
I
add something here?
Yeah.
So the first part of this webinar, which is tracking, and I don't know how many of you have attended that, but it's recorded on YouTube, and that is Google tracking. The views that Eric is talking about here, which is displayed for every listing for in the member area in RealBird, will show you a discrepancy, sometimes quite a big discrepancy between views and what Google tracking or clicky tracking shows you. And the reason for that is that the views are counted at the beginning of the website. So at the very first, so somebody clicks on a link someplace on a RealBird property website, and the counter then increments by 1 immediately at the click, while the Google tracking and the clicky tracking, the tracking code is at the bottom at the end of the website. So unless somebody lets the website load fully, it's not going to increment. So because of that, because a lot of people sort of like, they look at it, they then click over to some other tab or whatever, and their browser is slow and that kind of stuff, the Google tracking is going to be very conservative, while the views tracking is going to be showing a lot of these clicks. So if you want to show to your clients what the traffic is, then it's up to you which one you tell them. Just wanted to make sure that you understand.
Okay, they're going to want to know that you've been busy, that you've been active with their listing. And to me, that's a report you get back to your client on a regular basis. Here's how aggressive I'm being in moving your property. Okay. And by the way, I missed an opportunity in our session here today to show you that, to be able to share once your listing's live in RealBird, to take advantage of this up here. This is kind of like a share panel. So if by liking this basically shares within my network in Facebook. If I'm logged into my Twitter account, and which I'm not sure I am.
Eric, just one thing on that
Yeah.
listing, just totally unrelated to this. Do not do this type of, if you want your listing to be on Zillow, don't put your phone number and your name in the description of the house because Zillow is not going to post it. And Zillow has now a listing quality requirements link that I'd be happy to share it with you. It's also in our tips tutorial. If you go to your tutorials, it's in there. But there's no more phone numbers and branding information on the pictures or in the short description of the house.
So I'm okay putting this in the regular.
Yeah,
change all the time.
And the description is the description. You know, I see a lot of these where there's these short descriptions and stuff like that, and generic type lovely and charmer and stuff like that. You know, you get paid really a lot of money. And you know, I guess the seller will, whoever it is mostly will expect you to be able to come up with a few more words in there. There's 600 characters you can put in a short description, and but don't put your contact information.
Got it. Okay, that's a good tip. Things change all the time, so that's a good thing to know. So like here, we're going to take that one out. Got it. Okay. So this is better. This is a better description there. Okay. So it pulled one of these listings for Frank that I want to share. I just want to share that you please do this for yourself on every one of your listings. Is go ahead and tweet your listing. That is, open up in a tab your Twitter. Go ahead and log in. Right, here's me. Go ahead and log in. So I'm logged into Twitter. I already liked it on Facebook. I can go in here and I can share it within LinkedIn, have my profile up and running. There's me. By the way, this, let me, pull them in. Sorry, I can't remember my password. I'm in a different browser. Yep, I am. Okay. So the idea is you open each one of these things so that you are there you go. It's logging me in. So that when you share it, it's shared within the network. And these few things that I'm doing here. Let's see my Google. Yes, I'm on my Google Plus. Let's see. It should need to be more descriptive than this. I'm kind of showing you beautiful mobile home. Can't spell on the fly. Everybody watching, beautiful in Citrus Heights. Yeah. Let's go. This is a little bit I'm doing here. I hope you'll spend more time and more thought than I'm doing here. But I am sharing this within my network. Okay, I shared it there. Let's see, I'm sharing it. I pulled it up. Yep, same thing. I can share it here. I'll come back to that because I won't take that out. And then there's all these other places. By just these few things that I'm doing here, Facebook, my tweet, my LinkedIn, and my Google Plus, me sharing it here, my network is well over 5,500 people that I'm sharing it with in just a short amount of time. And that's what RealBird gives me the opportunity to do. So yeah, now obviously this is not my listing, this is Frank's, okay? But I want you to pull up your own listing once it's live and you open your tabs and go in here and like and share in these different networks. That part, remember we talked about generating traffic so that we have plenty of traffic to track. And that's why it's very helpful to be able to do that. It makes a huge difference. This is exponential exposure, okay? If there's no other questions, I want to thank everybody for coming to, I'd like to thank everybody coming to our webinar today. Hope you learned something. If you need me sharing some of these notes that we talked about here today, I would be happy to share this with you if you need a session to get you started on your top keyword research that you can use in your marketing, your content marketing of yourself and your profiles and listings. Happy to meet with you, share some ideas, and see where you're at and see what you need. Okay, and there's my non-domain-based email, webcoach@gmail. It's so dang good. I've had it for 12 years. I'm not going to get rid of it. But, of course, you can email me, info@agentwebcoach, but this might stick in your mind or same. They go to the same place. Thanks, everybody, for coming to the webinar. Hope you learned something. I learned something, and I've been doing these webinars a long time, and I still learn something every time. Thanks, Gabe, for your help and support.
Have a good weekend, everybody.